Hi, I'm Paris, and like most people, fall means a yard full of leaves. But here in Central Texas, we have Leaves Part 2, when the live oak trees lose their leaves at the start of spring. So I'm looking out and it's almost snowing with the leaves falling out of the tree. Now, it doesn't usually bother me. I just look out at the yard and say, my, that's a lot of leaves. But this year I thought I would try something different with a device that's like a vacuum. It will actually suck up the leaves, and there's a grinding portion of it that grinds the leaves into little pieces like mulch. There's a bag if you want to collect them, but I'm not really interested in having the leaves taken out of the yard. If I wanted to do that, I could just rake them up, or have someone in the family rake them up, put them into bags and put them out as yard waste. The city will collect them and then compost them. But that's what I want. I want the composted leaves to be in the yard, both to fertilize the trees and the grass. So this year's experiment is trying out this piece from Black & Decker.
Epic Review Guys.
Now this 3-in-1 unit from Black & Decker, the BV3100, goes for just under $50. I picked it up over at Lowe's. Yes, it is also a leaf blower, which I have issues with. Leaf blowers, at least how they're used around here, where people don't use them to put all the leaves in a pile to collect. They just blow all the leaves out into the middle of the street. So when the wind comes up, they blow into everyone else's yard. So I'm not a fan of leaf blowers, and I know this is one, but I'm going to be using, mostly at least, the vacuuming and composting function to see if I can improve some of how my yard looks. So instead of having fully intact leaves lying on top of the grass, they can be mulched up into tiny pieces ready to biodegrade and provide some fertilizer for the lawn and the trees. If you're interested in this device, I'll put a link to it down below this video. The other reason I bought this is because we have a solar panel installation on the roof, and the last couple years squirrels have built nests up underneath between the panels and the shingles of the roof. Lots of leaves and twigs, and we have a roof leaking problem that the people tell us is mostly from those nests causing the water that flows down the roof to back up and form a pool which then sits there till it soaks down through the roof. So before the squirrels get busy with year number 3 of building nests, I want to take this leaf blower and blow out the leaves and twigs that they've put under the solar panels. I'm not going to include that in this video because I don't think that same use would be of interest to so many people. Here's the heart of the unit. Now they do have bigger, more powerful units you can get if you have a larger yard or acreage or a bigger space you're going to be working with. This is supposed to be right for the average city lot, which is about 1/8 of an acre. The next size up is for 1/4 acre and so forth. It comes with the large fat tubes for doing the vacuuming and the smaller tubes which you assemble and attach for doing the leaf blowing. And the bag to collect the mulched leaves. Oh, and it looks like, so I can wear this over my shoulder, I'll really look professional out there. On top is the power and speed switch. You can choose between 150 mile an hour and 250 mile an hour winds. It will blow out 300 cubic feet of air per minute, and the device itself weighs about 7 pounds. Took just a few seconds to attach the leaf blower utility. To use it in vacuum mode, once you've shut it off, unplugged it, made sure that the fan's no longer spinning, you can press a button here, open this up, and then the larger tubes will connect in here. Feel like I'm going to war here. Okay. This in all its unwieldiness is how it's used as a vacuum to pick up the leaves, grind them up in here, and put them into this bag. I think I am ready to go, and here's what I'm up against. These, by the way, are my electronic tiki torches. If you missed my review of those, I'll put a link to it at the end of this video, and I'm going to do a follow-up this month on how these are working out. So here's my leaf situation. Now this is an electric mulcher vacuum blower, so it's supposed to be quite a bit quieter than the gas ones, but I don't think by any means it's going to be quiet. See if this ends up pulling me across the yard. Let's go to level 1. That did mostly fill the bag up. And And I don't know that I got as much mulching action out of that as I was expecting. They're a little bit chopped, but I was thinking I was going to get a lot smaller pieces than this. The box advertises a 10-to-1 mulch ratio. What would take 10 bags before should now fit into 1 bag. I'm not seeing that kind of compression with the mulching job it's doing for me. For a side-by-side comparison, I've poured out some of the contents of the mulching bag on your left. On the right is what's originally still sitting in the yard, and you can see the leaves are broken up into smaller pieces. I don't see that 10-to-1 compression though. I poured the mulch leaves back into the spot where I vacuumed up the original leaves. I thought it was going to be finer powder and little grains I could pour in, water it, and then it would wash down between the blades of grass, but I don't think that's happening either. Maybe at the higher power setting it'll do a better job of grinding it up. Let's go for level 2. All right, another full bag in that short amount of time. Well, I think it sucked it up faster, but I don't think it ground it any finer than on the lower speed. So that's really not doing what I want it to do. I suppose I could go through the cycle again of vacuuming it up and having it ground up a little smaller, but that seems like an awful lot of work. I think maybe this is why people get frustrated. They try to use the leaves as a mulch in their own yard, and in the end, they just put on the leaf blower attachment, turn it on high. I think I'm wearing more leaves than actually got blown around the yard. Well, leaf blowing is more fun than raking. I may end up putting them into the lawn waste bags and putting them out for the city to compost. Well, I think this Black & Decker 3-in-1 unit did what it's supposed to do. I think my expectations were just a little too high that it would really mulchify those leaves and turn them into all tiny little pieces. There is some compaction though going on, because I'm sure I could fit a lot more of that ground up leaf material into a yard refuse bag than I could before with the full size leaves. In any case, I will be using its leaf blowing prowess to help clean out the leaves and twigs that are jammed under the solar panels on the roof. I'm waiting for Jimena to get home before I climb up there, just in case I fall off. There's somebody to look out the window and say, hey, look at that. I was using it with one hand because I had one hand holding the camera, and even so, it's not that heavy, and it was fairly able to point where I wanted it to go. So I'm sure with two hands, and the bag slung over my shoulder, I'd be able to go through and work the yard pretty easily. The bag, as you saw, filled up pretty quickly, but I do have a very thick layer of leaves. This Black & Decker electric BV3100 3-in-1 mulcher, vacuumer, leaf blower is a pretty good deal, I think, even though it didn't do exactly what I wanted it to. I'll put a link to it down below this video. You can keep checking back for that follow-up video on my electronic tiki torches and other videos, or you can click that subscribe button down below. You'll get notified when our videos go up. See you on the next review.
At Epic Review Guys, we search far and wide. Late night infomercials, we never take sides. Click in the corner, come join our tribe. Honestly, we want to see you subscribe.